Oh, I'm pouting again. Why am I pouting? How did I turn to pouting? I have no clue how that actually happened. Anyways, starting at this awful stream time again. But no, welcome to Too Long Didn't Week, where I make an excuse just so I can talk about things I've seen on Twitter for about 2.5 hours. Today we are talking about a couple of things actually. A very famous now Japanese horse has now finally won her first race. Power World is somehow doing pretty decently against Nintendo when it comes to the lawsuit. And I can't remember what else I put on the docket today. But I do also want to talk about a few interesting things today, namely I don't actually know what. Like I can see the docket in front of me. I don't actually know what I want to start with today. I really want to talk about the Coldplay incident, the Coldplay controversy. That would be fun. Like I know that this is not meant to be a drama thing, but I don't really consider it drama. I consider it funny. Like no, I consider that to be very funny. But no, like I think we should start off with an interesting article that I saw today, a couple of weeks back. Let's see, where is it? IGN top 25 PS5 games. I really want to talk about this because it's an interesting hold up. Am I in sync? Let me just check my V2. Yeah, no, but I'm slightly higher, so I'm gonna be cutting off at the top. Hold up, let's get that fixed because it's quite annoying when that happens. My hat is bigger than my head, so generally speaking, it occasionally will cut off. Anyways, let's not talk about this article that I want to talk about today. Geneva. We ranked our top 25 best PS5 games, including including a new batch of content. See which three made this list. Tell us yours. Now, first off, I really want to talk about this because it's a very interesting list. Yeah, let's just get into this one because it's an interesting list, but it's not really a good list. Let me try and explain. Sure, whatever. So, top 25 lists. Currently. Thanks, bugger off. Not sponsored by Currys, by the way. 25, Devil May Cry 5, which I kind of want to know, like, this is a list devised for the top 25, like, best PS5 games. Devil May Cry is not a PS5 exclusive game, so it's kind of a very weird list when you actually think about it like that. Because you look at, like, they're well known on the PS5, sure, but they're not exclusively on the PS5. Well, anyways, Devil May Cry PS5. I don't really think Devil May Cry and think PS5 exclusive. Well, I don't think of a PS5 game when it comes to DMCA. Like DMCA. We're not sending a lawsuit here. But no, I don't think Devil May Cry when I think like PS5. Like it's a very odd one to start off with, but it is a very good game. Great combat mechanics. And I would say it quite helpfully did revive the genre. Like it did revive the game. Did a lot for the genre. Not a lot for the genre. It did a lot for Capcom. Capcom was people might still remember the days where people were calling Capcom Crapcom, and it generally started when Street Fighter was sort of like Street Fighter was kind of like the catalyst for like Street Fighter 5, Devil May Cry, not Dante one, whatever it was called. That kind of was the era where Capcom was still known as Crapcom, and it was an interesting time, I'm not gonna lie. And the thing about the other DMCA, why do I keep saying DMCA? The thing about the other DMC, with short-haired Dante, it was quite interesting because the gameplay itself was bad. It was just the game itself, the story was just, the character was just annoying. Like the gameplay itself was fine, if I remember correctly. Returnal, I've never even heard of this game. Roguelife has been a long time since one of these has been a popular genre on been popular in the indie scene. I don't actually know what this game is. I haven't seen gameplay footage of it, but it is very nice to see like a roguelike being developed by a AAA software developer. So it is quite nice. I will give IGN this. It's a very, I will say this, it's a very interesting call. I do want to see more roguelikes just because they are an interesting genre by itself. I mean, I know a lot of roguelikes, like this says, there are a lot of roguelike indie games because essentially indie games cannot really necessarily make a, they can do a lot involving story. But generally, roguelikes force you to be aggressive with gameplay. They force players to make decisions. They make an artificial difficulty by forcing you to restart the game, and it's not a bad scheme. I can think of a lot of games that used to do this. There was this one called I forgot what it was called. Fallen Angel, something like that. It was a very interesting game. Hold on, I'm gonna quickly look it up. Atlas horror game. Atlas horror game. Email. Atlas horror game. It was called no. Sega Saturn. It was a Sega Saturn horror game. I can't remember what it was called. Deep Fear, no. Corpse Killer, no. What was it called? Game? Zero Enemy, no. Japanese. I absolutely love this game. I can't remember what it's called. So the Dead. Ooh. Hold on. I'm gonna find this game. I really want to do a playthrough with this game, and it's a interesting game. Nevertheless, it is a really interesting game. I just don't remember what it's called. Most painful RPG. Yeah, give me the name of it. Broke. That was the name of the game. Broke is such a good like roguelike horror game. Not too many games like replicated what Broke did, which was such an interesting way of telling stories. The actual game though, it revolved around the idea of telling stories via trial and error. But the odd thing about Broke was it's told its story, but it did it in such a weird way. Like you couldn't necessarily understand the story in one playthrough. There was no way you could do that. But it was so abstract, and this is what roguelikes do for indie games. Indie development absolutely love roguelikes for this one reason. You can make an artificial, like, you can inflate the difficulty without necessarily making a long game or a long thought out game. No, generally you can focus more on the gameplay mechanics on a roguelike rather than focus on the story and make it so that it's more challenging on the player. It is an artificial difficulty boost, but it is something that is quite appealing to a lot of players, myself included. I play a lot of card games, and I remember there's this card game that I play all the time. Where you literally, I actually done a stream on it. But Broke, these games are actually really challenging, and I absolutely love like roguelikes. So it's quite nice to see that this is actually being seen. I want to see more roguelikes in AAA development, to be honest with you. Final Fantasy 16. I absolutely hate this guy, Clive, just for the sheer fact that he's absolutely ruined Tekken. And again, this is actually I will say this is more of a PS5, more recognizable game. Like it is on Steam, granted, but I would say Final Fantasy is generally more of a it's more of a PS5. It's more of a PlayStation IP than it is Xbox. So I will give it that because it's nice. Horizon Forbidden West. This is definitely a PlayStation exclusive game. Well, not exclusive. It's on Steam, but might be on Steam. Might not actually be on Steam. That's an interesting one. I don't know if it's on Steam or not. But no. Again, original first party. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Again, I wouldn't call this a PS1, I wouldn't call this a PlayStation game, but it's, again, quite interesting. Like a dragon, infinite wealth. Wrath? Wealth? I think that's wealth. I love being English and also being dyspraxic and dyslexic. But no, I shouldn't, we're going to talk about Pokemon later. But no, again, I won't. This is actually generally more of a Sony IP, so yeah, I'll give it this. But I know the point of this list is to say what's the best games to buy on PS5, but there's that weird sort of feeling like where you're sort of seeing these games and they don't actually represent the company that well. I don't think, but this one's going so far. Ballatora. It's one of these games that everyone keeps recommending. But again, I would say it's more of a Steam game. Like, again, it's not exactly it's not really a high power game. You can buy it on Steam and probably you'll get a better experience because handling a game like this, most card games, you want to handle with a mouse and keyboard or just a mouse in some cases. But, I guess this is something you can, I guess you can maybe, yeah, it's a good game for the PS5, but I wouldn't say it's a good game for the PS5. Ghost of Tsushima. Again, yeah, this is actually a solid pick for, it's a solid pick for PlayStation 5, but I wouldn't necessarily, you know what? Yeah, this is a solid PS5 exclusive. It's not exclusive, but it's a solid enough PS5 game. I would say this is a solid PS5 game. Alan Wake 2. No bugger all about this game. Genuinely no bugger all about Alan Wake. I know it was a horror game, I believe. Yeah. Maybe it's something I should do for Halloween, but I don't know if it's exclusive on PS5. It might be. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was originally a game for the GameCube. Like, I would say yes, Resident Evil has a good IP identifier for being a Sony license. Like, it is more closely related to the PlayStation IP. But it was originally a GameCube game. Was Resident Evil 4. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. Again, I guess I would see it more as a I would see it more as a PlayStation. I don't know about this one. Right, so on the one hand, yes, I do see it as more of a PS5 game, but it originally was released for the PS4, if I remember correctly. So I don't actually know. It could be a good, maybe a good game for that. I don't know. I personally think it's more of a PC game then. But yes, I know it's to buy on the PS5. Yes, it is a great game to buy in general. But again, I'm just talking about how it's not really necessarily exclusive, but I don't know. It's just weird. Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is a great representation of PS5, like PlayStation. Like it's not an exclusive, but it was designed with PS5 hardware in mind, which I genuinely think like this is a great representation of PS5. Last of Us, bugger me with Last of Us. Like genuinely, stop talking about Last of Us, especially Last of Us 2 Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 remastered. We don't need a remastering of a game. Like, we don't need the remaster. Grand Theft Auto. That was a PS4 game. We're still talking about Hades. I would actually say this is more of a Switch game, but yes, this is a good PS5 game to buy. But I would say it's more of a Switch game. Witcher 3, yes, I will say it's a good game. Even though people actually think that this is a great story-driven game, it's a bad game when it comes to sort of the combat, which is honestly fair enough. I can actually see the problem with the combat. I remember the combat being, um, it was decent at best. I remember that. Last of Us Part 1. How did Part 1 get ahead of Part 2? Like, I thought it was meant to be better. Like, I thought Part 2 was meant to be better than Part... Again, this is a PS3 game, but Final Fantasy 7... A remake. Final Fantasy Remake. Yeah, I'd say a remake is fine. I'd say it's got... You know what? This is actually a great... You know what? Yeah. This actually, I actually wholeheartedly agree with. It was originally for the PS4, but it kind of had a weird... What was it? It had a weird licensing agreement where they can't release it for PS... You couldn't release it for PC for I think it was 90 days or something like that. So that's absolutely fine. Persona 4 Royal, actually a pretty good pick. Not necessarily like it's a great game for PS5. It's a great PC port. But I'd also say it has a good representation for being Sony, like a Sony IP, because like it has a long-lasting legacy of being like big amongst Sony, like PS, like Persona 4 and Persona 3 were exclusively for like actually no, the entirety of the Persona series was Sony exclusive. Like it was only like the last, I think it was only since Persona 4 Golden where I actually started moving slightly more towards being universally like going towards more of a PC type of game, like more of a, they were going towards more Nintendo PC like hybrid systems, which is very odd because Persona 4 Revive, I think it's called, Revival, whatever it is called, was first announced on Xbox, which I'm not gonna lie, it's quite nice to see that they're actually getting an Xbox treatment. It is quite nice to see that Persona's finally getting sort of more of a broader, like a broader demographic. Okay, so Persona 7 Astrobots is number 6. Gotcha. Persona Final Fantasy Rebirth. Okay, so I like Final Fantasy 7. I'm a Final Fantasy. I like Final Fantasy 7 games, but we've had 3 Final Fantasy games on this one list alone. We might as well put 15 on here too. But like, why are we putting 5? Why are we putting 16, 7, and 7 Part 2 on here? Like, it doesn't kind of make sense. We have, like, I know they're great games. I know both of them are great games. It's the same thing with Last of Us, though. Why do we have Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2? Like, I get it. Generally speaking, they're both good games. But, I don't know, like, what about why not widen the horizons and actually talk about some more intricate and interesting games? Like, I get it, Rebirth is good, Remake is good, but we've had 3 Final Fantasy games. Like, I don't know, like God of War Reckoning. God of War Reckoning. I don't know much about the God of War series. I've never played it, never really wanted to. I do know apparently it's got a good father-son dynamic, which is cool, I guess. Yeah. Metaphor Fantasia. Now, I already just complained about multiple Final Fantasies, and I'm not gonna give the same flack to Metaphor Fantasia, because Metaphor Fantasia plays nothing like Persona. It has similar mechanics, similar wording, similar outcomes, similar ideas, but they're not the same game. Strictly speaking, I'd say Fantasia is a bit of a broken game. It's a good game, but Fantasia is nothing like a Persona game. There are elements that are very similar, but they don't have like things like social links. They do have a time mechanic, if I remember correctly. There is a time basis found in their mechanic, but I don't think it was like it's there, but it's not as predominantly found. It's not predominantly that. Like, it's weird. Like, I think it's there, but the first hour you don't really notice it. Like in Persona, you will notice like days fly by before you like. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. Is the game good? The game's fine, and I remember playing it and thinking it was an amazing game. But yeah, no, I don't think it's as better. I don't think it's better than Persona 5 Royal, because Persona 5, like, okay, I'll go into a bit of a rant here. Persona 5 did a lot of amazing things involving the way Personas they actually did a massive upgrade for Personas, and that is they gave technicals. They gave technicals. Technicals is such a good mechanic to add to Persona, because Persona has infamously been a physically like a game that you only use physical attacks in, because essentially you get a crit rate or a knockdown. Simple as that. You lose HP, sure, but that's a massive down. That's not a massive downfall. You lose HP, you revive HP with a healer. Doesn't really matter. You get a knockdown or you get a critical. You can usually get your party members to set up those, and it's usually fine. And technicals added such a great mechanic in which you can actually get a technical hit, get a technical knockdown, and essentially just make it. They made magic really good. Like it became usable. Yes, you still had physical that was better, but it at least helped out quite a bit. Metaphor didn't really do that much though. Metaphor mostly just for the most part. What did Metaphor actually add? It added a really broken mechanic where you could use money as a weapon. And I'm not even making that up. You could actually use a money weapon character. I can't remember what they're called. Stands. I don't remember what they're called. Basically, you could use your money. The more money you had, the more you could spend, and it didn't cost HP. It costed money to spend these attacks, and it was really busted, because it turns out if you're spending money, you can attack and still have HP. Like, you're not losing anything if you're losing money. Like, yes, you cannot buy stuff, but you earned it back. You had built-in ways to earn back money. So it was fine. Baldur's Gate 3. It's a great game. Again, it doesn't yell out Sony for me though. Well, no, like, it's a great game. Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring. Okay. Okay, we got Elden Ring. Yeah, like I said, these are great games. They are great games, but I would like to sort of like see more of a, I don't know, like more of a direction towards more of Sony. Like, I genuinely would have loved more of a Sony directorial focus. Like, I get it, like it was meant to be the best games. Like, we're like the best PS5 games, including a new batch. Like, I get it. That's the point. But I don't know. Like, it would have been. I'm just gonna click on Iron Man here, but it would have been nice to sort of like see more of a broader representation of Sony rather than just third parties. I'm going with Iron Man. I want to quickly see this. Okay, yeah, no. Starting. That then leads us to a little break. Not really much to say about that one. I will say this about Sony. Like, I will agree with the list. The list by itself was fine. I just would have loved to see more Sony representation. Like, it would have generally just been nice to sort of see more Sony things, like actual things on there. Okay. I guess we can now start off with Power World. We might talk about Power World. Yeah, we'll talk about Power World. So, this actually didn't see this on Twitter too much. It was odd because I didn't see this on Twitter too much, but I want to talk about it because essentially Power World I've been playing a lot of Power World and I want to talk about it. Simple as that. Nintendo's lawsuit is getting Nintendo's Powerwell lawsuit is getting surprisingly officially updated. So I'm going to be honest with you here for a few seconds. People grossly I'm going to be completely honest with you here for a few seconds. People grossly do not understand the lawsuit between Nintendo and Powerwell. So I'll fill in what the actual lawsuit was about. People are misunderstanding it as being a people are misconstruing it as being a copyright lawsuit. It is not. It is a patent lawsuit. The reason why this is a very big, there's a very big divide between what that is and what that means. There's a very big divide. We'll get into why that's quite an interesting change, like what that actually means that's different. Patent lawsuits are generally considered to be more theoretical. They're more about, from what I understand, patent lawsuits are saying, you copied this mechanic, therefore stop doing what you're doing because you copied our work. Now, I find this to be one of the dumbest lawsuits I've ever heard of. Because Powerwell, let me just get pictures of what the patents are. This is the wrong one. Where is my... This is what Nintendo's patent lawsuit looks like. See if I can get pictures of it. So, this is basically what Nintendo are saying Powerwell is infringing on. This idea of capturing pals, but not necessarily the idea of capturing monsters. If that was the case, they would have lawsuits in like Digimon. And I think this is one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard of. You are patenting game mechanics. I am now pouting. You are patenting game mechanics. It's like if somebody has a patent for, say, the reload mechanic in anything, like if you had a reload mechanic, you theoretically would be able to make it so that no other third-person shooter could exist. Like, that is the problem with patenting things like mechanics. So this is basically what they are infringing on. Patent ideas. These are things that Nintendo have put forward in the Japanese Patent Office. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the mechanic. The idea is simple. You jump, you have your Thank you. That's just rude. Not interesting. I want to read on. So this is what the idea for this is. You have the idea. Nintendo's patent is you jump and you have Pokemon here. You have your Pokemon over here. And you summon out the Pokemon mid-flight and you fly across the river. Now, the reason why this was a problem was there was a PAL called where are you? Called Guide Claw, I think it was. Claw Guide or Glide Claw, I think it is. Anyways, the idea behind Glide Claw was actually quite an interesting one. What was the idea behind Glide Claw? You basically you had the PAL out and you got yourself, you could basically summon out anytime during a fight. And instead of getting wasting your time building a glider, you got yourself a Glide Claw, which instead of giving you instead of having a glider in your inventory, you had the PAL. And that was the idea of the Glide Claw. You got rid of a glider from your inventory. In exchange, you put it on your Pokemon, your PAL team, and you could glide at any time. And it was actually a really interesting mechanic. It also gave you the opportunity to shoot while you were gliding too, which was really good mobility in a game where you're shooting a lot of lots of bits and bobs, gave you mobility, and it was an interesting mechanic. Apparently, the Nintendo claimed it as a patented mechanic, which doesn't make that much sense. Again, patenting game mechanics, that's patenting like things like roguelife. You can't make a roguelife? You're going to get rid of all gliders because of this? But what is interesting about this entire thing is I swear I've seen this particular animation before. And the reason I recognize this particular animation is because of Nier Automatum. Hold on. Nier Automatum Glide. There is a legit mechanic in Nier Automatum that is word for word, bar for bar, note for note, the exact same idea and concept. We see this, and Square Enix is a Japanese company, so I don't really understand what the heck this lawsuit's even about at this point, because if you're gonna, like, this is almost the exact same idea concept to the pattern. I don't understand where the idea between the lawsuit actually makes any sense now, because essentially, if this is the same idea and concept, why is this any different to this? They are literally the same animation. And the thing about this is, Power World was misunderstood recently. They were misunderstood on the idea of removing a game mechanic because of... they removed this mechanic because of the lawsuit. But this wasn't necessarily because they were bending the knee to Nintendo. It was actually quite the opposite. They were actually doing it out of a good faith argument, which means theoretically, if they were infringing on this pattern, well, they've removed it, so they can still potentially, they can make an argument saying, we've removed that mechanic, why are we still getting sued? So yeah, what's also really interesting is, let's have a look. Let's have a look in Lil Cook's book. Pokemon AZ trailer. Hold on. We get Pokemon AZ trailer. Now, if we look here in the AZ trailer, you notice that it now looks, it plays a lot like Power World, but look right here. Look right here. You are now rolling. Rolling. This is a new mechanic. This is a new mechanic. Never seen in Pokemon. You could never roll in Pokemon. Hold on. You can never roll in Pokemon. This sort of live action thing, completely new to Pokemon. But the rolling is very interesting. Rolling means if Power World, a game company, wishes to patent a particular, this particular mechanic found here is actually found heavily in two franchises, Digimon and Power World. Should either of those two ever patent this particular, should Power World or Bandai ever patent this one mechanic in Japanese court, they technically have a stronger argument than Nintendo do, because technically it is a big part of Power World. It is a big part of Power World that you release your Pokemon and start rolling. Because you're patenting ideas like gliding, you theoretically could patent ideas like rolling. And that's really interesting. Apparently, this is more of a bigger loss. It theoretically could be a legal thing that Power World could do. I ain't no lawyer. But I find it really interesting that because of this lawsuit, Nintendo has technically opened themselves up to legal action. Well, not necessarily legal action. I'm going by what I've heard. Do not sue me, Nintendo. I'm just a dickhead on the internet. But no, what I'm saying here is very like the theoretical side of this is very. It's well, no, not the theoretical. The abstract nature of a pattern just makes it so that it opens up like the idea of flying, gliding on a Pokemon or a creature. Like that's just part of fantasy. People want to glide and do all these amazing, fantastical things, and yet we now pattern them in games so that we can't do it and make the fantasy more of a reality. It's kind of just an interesting. Well, no, I'm gonna say it's a bogus and ridiculous lawsuit that I think is relatively stupid. And I ain't a lawyer. I just think that I'm a big fan of Power World. I'm a massive fan of Power World. I just think it's a dumb lawsuit. Especially when you are doing this. So, the reason why I'm bringing it up is... Where's my docket? Where is my docket? Here is what's changed about the lawsuit. Now, Nintendo's finally updating its patents. Now, this is actually really good news for Power World. This is really interesting about Power World. So what Nintendo's lawsuit finally updates on the patents. What is interesting about the lawsuit by itself is, a few months ago, Nintendo went to Japanese patent offices and requested a modification on one of their patents within the Power World lawsuit. This request was approved and now published. Nintendo reveals it wants to change their patents to regarding smooth switchings of riding objects, such as flying on an anvil creature. Anvil? Avian creature? I don't know. To an overland flying on an avian creature to move to overland mounts. And this is basically, again, this is what the lawsuit's all about. It's nothing to do with copyright law, which is funny because there are a lot of people that still get that misconstrued. But at the same time, I can kind of see why they would get it misconstrued, because Power World, it does look a bit weird. Like some powers do look very similar. Like, yeah. But basically, what makes this very interesting is the phrase. Where is the phrase? I've been following. Where is it? The phrase. Where is the phrase? Adds more to reflect consistency. The Japanese patent office. Oh, even when. So, the idea of the patent. Hold on. How well, even when. I want to find what the original was first. Google, give me Google, google.com. Even when. So, according to, hold on, I'll get the Reddit. According to the article by GameFry, Nintendo has surprisingly updated when the company's changed the language behind its patents, middle of going. The company changed the language behind one of its patents, middle of one of its ongoing lawsuits. Now, from what I understand, because I'm not a lawyer, changing a patent mid-trial is only something you can do in Japan. But it's actually a good sign for Power World, because you can either do one or two things. You can either clarify, or I can't remember the other one. Basically, the new updated pattern, literally, the updated pattern has a new lengthy paragraph regarding character boarding different aerial characters seamlessly flying. Technically, I can't pronounce that one. However, what was striking, most confusing, is the even when statement seen at the beginning. Even when. This phrase even is rarely used regarding legal texts because it's far too subjective. Even when I actually really want to know what it is in Japanese, because people are saying this is even when is really confusing for an English speaking language. The issue I'm seeing with people is they're saying this from an English perspective. What about the Japanese perspective? What is the Japanese perspective on the word even when? What is the Japanese perspective on the term, or even what is the Japanese perspective on the phrase even when? Because even when is a really complex idea to put in. Like, even when something happens, it's such a complicated thing. I don't even think that many. I'm going to actually quickly look this one up because I'm pretty sure a lawyer game such as Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't even use the term even when. Yu-Gi-Oh, Google, even when effect, Yu-Gi-Oh. There is an even when effect because this is how confusing even when is. If and when effects in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know why this is relevant, but it's considered to be a conditional activation or a conditional activation and effects. So yes, it gets really complex really fast when you use the phrase even, because it implies that you can always activate something. It gets, hold on, what's the even when effect? Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm putting this in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, not even legal terms, but uh, and a card with that says when conditioned met by X, you are starting to activate a card. So when something is activated in a chain, it's just a really weird thing to put ever. Like even when something happens, it's just a really odd language. It's way too abstract for a patent in lawsuit. But what is good about this is because it's been changed, people are speculating that um the Nintendo has to broaden its perspective. But I can't remember what the actual reasons for what you can do to change patent lawsuits. Hold on. Japan patent lawsuits. Japan patent lawsuits. What can you change mid trial? You can change. You can change this. Alright. Can you change during a patent or suit in Japan? You can adjust. You can amend the argument and introduce new evidence. Now it's talking about. Uh, a surprising update. Maybe even says on here. TLDR alleged Pokemon. TLDR, Nintendo is suing Power Worlds for allegedly copying Pokemon's mechanics. Pocket Power removed those removed or changed those features. Nintendo then awkwardly edited its own patent mid lawsuit, which seen by experts is seen as a deprived and risky move. Yeah, no. It's surprisingly, it's been pretty good. Pretty good for Power World. Just go quickly. That's chess. I don't want chess. What I want, I will quickly have a look up because I do think this is interesting. Pow lawsuit. Yeah, no. Hold up, just gonna quickly move. Yeah, no, I'm just not able to find it. Hold up, I'm just trying to look for something that. Oh, I found the video. Right. Okay. So yeah, no, I was kind of wrong. So there's two things you can do to fix. There are two things you can do during a lawsuit that you are allowed to do. To change pattern in Japanese courts. So the two things are fix typos and make language less vague. And what the term even when does is make the text even more vague. If that makes any sense. Because of that, it makes it so that it makes it so that the actual typo itself, like the idea is that you can only make it so that the even when makes it more vague, but the entire point of changing a pattern mid lawsuit is to make it clearer. What is new? Nintendo's even when. Where is it? Where is it? Jesus Christ. Find even when. Even when. Even when. Yeah, no, this is the requirements provided by Arco describe performing a jump operated by inputs of player. Yeah, no, this is even when an image indignant of riding a character of a bad character. Yeah, no. So even when just really makes this really vague, changes it from apparently more of a normal, of a more easy to understand line to something that's slightly more convex. It's more concave. It's slightly more aloof to understand what the heck this actually means. But no, very interesting lawsuit. I personally just wanted to talk about it because I've been playing a lot of Power World. I've been enjoying Power World, and I quite frankly I've just been enjoying it. But I just wanted to know what's happening in the lawsuit, so I got myself a little educated. And unironically, I got it ready for, well, not ready, not fully ready for tonight. But I got ready pretty decently considering I'm not a lawyer. I personally think, at the very least. Okay, what's next on the docket? Even when docket. Pokemon. We have a Pokemon story, but I don't really want to talk about it too much. I want to talk about Grok. Grok briefly was considered to be a top app in Japan after launching AI. I don't even know. Computatorial? I don't know. Modeled as an anime girl. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of still one of the most. I'm not even too sure I'm allowed. I'm not too sure if I should show this because it's like it can get a bit raunchy. Can this character? I am absolutely terrified. Yeah, I'm absolutely terrified to scroll down to see anything involving this character. But yeah, it's an interesting it's been an interesting time for AI as recently because it's gone from a character that has been like Gok as a individual on Twitter has kind of been ridiculed, but at the same time, I don't know, like it's kind of stupid. Like it's been kind of ridiculous the amount of both the like people don't mind using Gok to do sort of like funny little parody tweets to sort of say, hey, do X, Y, and Z. Like you get to see some really funny stuff. I remember seeing a clown tweet not too long ago, and yeah, it was a really interesting. Gok is just a really weird AI program. What is this one? Oh yeah, waifu engineers. X AI has posted job listing for waifu engineers with a salary up to 444. That would be nice. $440. I cannot imagine a world we're living in where you need to make a waifu engineer apart from in school days. But no, like modern day, like I remember watching a Goomba, a particular, what was it called? There was a Gaijin Goomba. He was talking about a particular game, game. I will not say its name because I don't remember it. Where it came attached with a certain appliance that was used in a certain way in a certain area of the male genitalia. I think I've said way too much. Point here is, Gawk, yeah, I don't see the point in them making a. That's the type of person who's going to be using this. I think this was, I generally don't think there is a good reason to be listing this. Considering what we've seen the character dressed up as, doesn't really make too much sense. Or is this? Anime fans think Gok looks like an AI they look like Misu Amane. And I just think that's, I didn't even notice, like, okay, I noticed the similarities. I didn't think it was this close though. Fun fact, Misa has two types of eye colors, which you can actually see on the right hand side. She has two eye colors, her blue eyes and brown eyes. And for the life of me, I don't know which one's the real one. I've never known which one was her real eyes because she's meant to be wearing contacts. I've no clue which one. Like she's meant to have. I don't know. I don't know. But no, I didn't notice it until now, but it does look a lot like. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of AI, let's talk about Elmer. Don't know where this transition came from. Elmer. I'm not even too sure I can share that on. Elmer. Elmer was officially hacked. Elmer was officially hacked. And he said not some very nice stuff. Said not very nice stuff. Elmer, thank you all for being so kind to Elmer and to all the people in your neighborhood. Elmer loves you. On Sunday, Elmer's X account, Twitter account, was briefly hacked by outside parties in security measures. We strongly condemn and this isn't Elmer speaking. Elmer, have you been hacked again? We strongly condemn the abhorrent and anti-Semitic and racist content on the account. These put like, oh, I get it's meant to be serious, but Elmo, you sound hacked again. You sound hacked again. On Sunday, yeah. Hey, Gok. Hey, Gok, can you repeat this tweet that Elmo posted, but make it sound like Elmo and not some corporate lawyer? I mean, yeah, no, Gok, okay, waifu bot. Oh boy, on Sunday, a sneaky monster hacked Elmo's account, even with all the safety staff. Elmo says that these mean yonky words about hateful people are super not okay. Elmo's account is safe now. Those posts ain't what Elmo or Sesame Street and Friends believe at all, and no one from our gang did it. Elmo loves everyone. That is actually a better reply than this. I'm not gonna lie, Gok did a great job there. Waifu bot, you did an amazing job, better than Elmo's corporate lawyer. Because yeah, and this, I get it, Elmo, you didn't do anything, bud, but oh boy, it's so weird. I'm going slightly insane. I think doing these on a Sunday making me slightly insane. Anyways, Elmo, poor Elmo. Oh yeah, speaking of AI slop, and talking about Nintendo, an AI, a hidden Nintendo update launched to combat the e-slop on the Switch. eShop. A hidden Nintendo update launched to combat the e-slop on the Switch eShop. Nintendo is trying to get rid of games that use AI images for false advertising and low-effort AI-generated adult games. I want to know where, like, we're living in a world where Nintendo kids can now find boobs. No, right. It's such a weird time to be alive. AI is now getting breasts. Elmo is getting hacked, and Nintendo's shop has absolutely no seal of and Nintendo has absolutely no seal of approval, like no seal of quality at all anymore. And yeah, I they're gonna use AI themselves a year. They're gonna use AI themselves in a year. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's such a weird time to be alive. Uh, let's talk about horse racing. By that, I mean our favorite horse, our little favorite horse. A horse named Sabaki Riz, Skybird Riz, going viral after achieving its first victory. His first victory. Uh, this game's just making me confused over what a horse, male or female. But no, he got his first victory. He got his first victory. I'm not too sure I can show this, but he finally got a victory. Fans have been given tons of horse gifts to this one Japanese horse. 5 tons were not the amount donated within 4 days total across a year. Fair enough. All right, we don't need to care about the specifics, community note. Point is, 2.5 tons of grass was given to the racehorse. Was given to the racehorse Ahuru Udara, a retired horse that failed to win any of its races when the retired Japanese horse failed to win any of her races. We're talking about a different horse, by the way. This is the problem with anime gotcha games based around real things. I am getting confused on what is what, especially when you are putting the wrong horse at the start. You've put the wrong horse here. The wrong horse. This is the horse. I'm getting confused. Point here is, this retired racehorse is the one that the internet stole their heart over. This retired racehorse. And people have been gifting her a lot of grass. Do I have the tweet here? That's history. Where's history? Here it is. This was just a cute tweet that I saw. I just saw this. It was such a cute tweet. Translation, Urara-chan. It's Urara-chan. And it's just a picture of that's just adorable, right? That's adorable. Like, no, that's cute. And that's cute. That's just cute. There's nothing gonna ever change. That's cute. Like, that's cute, right? That's cute. Where's my docket? No, like, there's also this. There was raising a charity event for horse jockeys. This game is just turning people insane. Like, I absolutely love it just for this one reason. This is being raised for charity, by the way, and look at them go! Look at them go! Did anyone wave? No, the winner didn't wave. They always wave. You meant to wave. Wave at the crowd. No, don't dap him up. Wave. Don't dap him up. But no. What was also really good about this was the Umamu. The developers were the sponsors of the Grand Prix de Paris for horse racing. The success of Umamu Umamuasumi. I used to speak a little bit of Japanese. Now I can barely pronounce anything. It's become one of the biggest. Is to become one of the biggest sponsors in real racehorse in history, and they keep helping the industry stay alive. I don't know what to actually say, because this was a Japanese exclusive game at one point. This genuinely used to be a Japanese exclusive game. I think it might be Asian territory exclusive game. And within like, I don't know, like 2 weeks, it's actively helping the industry stay alive. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because we don't want people to be gambling. You don't want people to actually gamble now, do you? But it's keeping the industry alive. It's keeping jobs. It's letting horses stay relevant. It's keeping them active, and it's doing a lot of net good and net positive. But at the same time, gambling. The game itself is a gambling game. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a very weird. We live in a weird time. We live in a weird time where we actively want horse racing games to do good things for real life horses. Ume is taking over La Polaris. It certainly is. The only gotcha game in 2025 that'll get you more money to only in 2025 you'll see a gotcha money turn into a historical Inquisition revival. I don't know. Anime Horse Girls fund real horse races. We're officially in the most powerful timeline. Sia Games really turned pixels into prize money. Not in Boris. Love Island. Jeez. I finally tried all the lips, but Boris. I don't actually know what the heck's going on here. Now let's talk about Coldplay. It's the right one. He is the CEO of Astronoma. She is the head of HR. They were seen acting as a couple at a Coldplay concert in front of 65,000 people. The scandal of Andy Baron and Christy Carbock. And look at those two faces. Hold up, let me just where's my model? That's not one. Hold on, let me just disappear. That is just oh dear me. That's just okay. See what this thread's saying. Andy Baron became CEO of Astronoma. I don't know. In 2023, the company just hit 1.3 billion valuation, and needed to stay. I needed a steady hand. He came. He had a clean career and came about big tech companies. He lived near Borostovs and he had a clean career, came from big tech companies, and lived near Borostovs and with his wife and 2 kids. The kind of CEO you never hear about. All right. A few months later, Andy hired Kristen Kolberg as head of HR. She worked. She had worked at. She had worked at a fast-growing startup company with a strong reputation, and brought to shape company culture. On LinkedIn, Andy and her were perfect for the job. Andy called her perfect for the job. On LinkedIn, Andy called her perfect for the job. Astroma sold an image of modern value, and Astrom sold an image of. They were in a, they were powered. They were powering data systems for over 700 clients and were potentially leading themselves as an AI and cloud infrastructures. Everything looked solid from the outside. Okay. On the 16th, this is where the good bit seems. On July the 16th, 2025, Coldplay were playing in Boston. Was playing a concert in Boston. Coldplay was playing a concert in Boston. Alex and Chrissy zoomed in on them, and Andy had his arms around Kristen. They were holding hands. They looked like a couple. When they realized they were on the big screen, they were panicking. She covered her face. They were panicking. She covered her face. He ducked behind the seat into the mic. Either they're having an affair or they're just into the mic. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. The crowd laughed, but people online were asking, "Isn't that the CEO of Astroma?" I don't actually know what this company's called. I genuinely don't know what this company's called, so who cares? Someone posted the clip on top. Someone posted the tick. Someone posted the clip on TikTok. It went viral. It went viral in a few hours. Then it hit Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. Both Andy and Christine were married. Their names were easy to find. Andy's wife removed Baraya from her profile, then deleted her Facebook entirely. Megan Barara, she's gonna wake up. She's gonna wake up from this literally heartbreaking. So you've got so many people on your side rooting for you. Stay strong. It's just much worse when you see her. She's obviously a kind mother and doing it to a mother. You don't deserve this. Jeez. Astrom hasn't said a word. Andy is still at his job. He isn't anymore. The story won't disappear because when the CEO and head of HR act like a couple at a concert and the whole stadium sees it, the internet doesn't go. Oh, they're going to block you now. So interestingly enough, the story did not go away, and the guy is now no longer the CEO. Hold on, what is this? What is more interesting isn't necessarily what's happening with that. People are just memeing the ever loving crap out of this. Like, I'm just loving this. People are yeah, they are just turning this from a joke to yeah, hold on. We have get it, yeah. Oh, we should follow him on Twitter. Oh no. Oh no. We're now getting more people. Uh, uh what was the Phillies? There was a Philly bad. Hold up. Uh football. Football mascot Andy Ron. Ron? Football mascot Andy Ron. Philadelphia. There we go. Philadelphia. I haven't got a clue what you. I'm probably saving this. Ah, come on, load up. Yeah. Will it load? Cute, cute couple, cute couple, cute couple, cute couple. Can we get to the? Can we get to the juicy part? Can we get to the juicy part when we see the two beds? Like. only in Philly. You know you've made it when you've made it when mascots are mocking you. You genuinely know you made it. This is my wife. Only in Philly. Only in Philly. What else? Hold up. Did I just see that? I just saw The Simpsons. The Simpsons predict this too. Anyways, Andy Bernard. Astronaut. But no, the top story is he is now resigned from the company Astronomer. I really don't know how it's. I don't know what it's called. What's actually? I just realized we're doing this live, so we can genuinely just look at what the heck's going on. And yeah, mostly it's just. Holy, okay, yeah, no, I didn't even think of that. So I completely forgot about this. This is an office. Yeah. This is almost the exact same thing that happened. Michael Scott and Holly did this almost exactly like donkeys ago. CEO resigned following Andy Perron resigned. Like, yeah, no, but I absolutely love this. I love this. Let's just see. Statement from Andy Barad. Let me start by apologizing to my family, my wife, our wonderful employees. My behavior is inexcusable, and the shame I am receiving as well as is well deserved. I try to hide my action, but the truth is, it has finally been revealed. I am the Coldplay fan. I have a feeling I have a feeling I just read a troll tweet. And not just the first two albums. I also like their recent stuff, and I'm going to be taking accounts. I think I just read it. I think I just read a troll tweet. I think I just did. Journalism 101. Nah, don't. I don't think they're on Twitter. As previously stated, committed its values and culture, guided us. Yeah. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing but it's a very interesting story. But it was slightly more lighthearted. It is slightly more lighthearted, not for the people involved, but it's really stupid. Oh dear. I guess we can talk about Gok Coldplay. Superman. We can talk about Superman. James Gunn's Superman has surpassed 4 million worldwide. Now, this is such a interesting, like, this has been like a really interesting time because it is actually quite nice to see a lot of like, it's just nice to see a DC movie that is not the Joker actually perform well. And I don't know, it's nice. It I don't know. I just kind of wish it came sooner. Apparently, it's more like Marvel than it is like DC. Sharon praises James Gunn. Sharon Stone praises. I love the movie. Superman is non-stop. Non is stopping non-specific colonization of. Okay. I absolutely sometimes hate Twitter. Yeah, no. Apparently, it's okay. Apparently, it's a fine film. I haven't seen it. I have friends who've seen it, but apparently it's yeah, no, apparently it's good film. I'm interested in it. Next film I want to talk about then is the Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed. Netflix is creating a live action Assassin's Creed series. David Wine, Halo, is serving as co-runner on the series. And I'm actually happy this is going to be a series over a actual film. The timeline of Ezio by itself is complex and convoluted, let alone the fact that these games get really stupid, like bogged down with a lot of historical context. Not to mention like modern day, like Desmond, I think his name was the main character for the first three Assassin's Creed. I think, like, if it's following like the original Creed, then it should be a fairly solid story. But it does make me question of what they mean by this, because it could even mean that they're going to be doing the stories of Ezio or Al. I forgot what the other character was called. Uh, oh, hold on, I'm just going to quickly search this up. I'm very well prepared today. Creed Assassin. Names. We have Altair Ezio. I am going to pronounce that name. Edward James. We have basically the problem I will see for this one is there is a lot of stories. There are a lot of things to tell. Are we going to be doing it? Is it going to be like a what's that word? Is it going to be a so I don't know. It's not a slice of life. What's the correct word? a story in the same series, sure, but not same story. It's called episodic characters miniseries. No, special word for it. There is a special word for it. I've forgotten what it's called. Anthology. That's the word I'm looking for. Anthology. Anyways, is it going to be like an anthology series following each assassin's timeline? Is that what they're aiming for? Because it's, I don't know, like, I can't see the story is quite long and full of fake stuff that happened. Like, no, it's quite nice to see them doing a historical, would it be a historical drama, sci-fi even? Like, what would it even be? Is it a historical or a sci-fi? I mean, that is the thing between, like, that is going to be the thing with yeah, it's just going to be the thing by itself. Is it going to be historic or sci-fi? Like, I don't know, but the point I'm trying to make here is it'll be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good. Netflix has been doing a good track record as of recently, but I don't know. There's just something about, I didn't like the idea of Ezio or more Assassin's Creed. It just, I think there is just the broad, I think it's just too broad right there. Persona. We have Persona news. Persona is now on the wish list of Persona 4 is now on the wish list. And I really want to just talk about this because I want to rant about Persona 4 for a bit. Because I want to talk about something that's kind of annoying about Atlas in general at the current moment. They just will not leave Persona 4 alone. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. I love Persona. I love Persona 4. I love Persona 3. I love Persona 5. I love Persona. Persona's such a good game. You should play Persona. But I'm kind of sick of them just remaking the same game. I like the franchise. I like Persona 4. I love the spin-off. I love Arena. But how many times can you just visit one place that many times? What is the point in some cases? I love Inaba. I love the characters. I do not like the fact that they're potentially changing voice actors because I've literally heard these characters voice these characters for well over a decade. Like, it's going to be weird to hear a new Chie. It's weird to hear a new Yosuke. It's going to be even weirder to hear a new Yukiko. We're getting rid of Johnny Young Bosch as the protagonist. Like, these characters have not only been in anime, they've been in every sequel, they've been in every spin-off, they've been in almost every game in Persona 4 history. And we're now replacing these voice actors that are already well established and well known. They know the characters really well. They've been playing it for a decade. They've been playing these characters since, some of them since Persona 4. Like, they know the characters really well. Why are you now replacing these characters? And it's just sort of, Persona has changed from, like, I love Persona 4, but why are we changing the voice actors? I get it. They did the same thing for Persona. I get it. They did the same thing for Persona 3. Yeah, I get it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I genuinely I will always think Yosuke as that voice actor. I can't remember the name of the voice actor. But I just think it's a it's just a bit depressing as well. I absolutely love the voice cast for Persona 4. It also means that we're going to be revisiting It also means we're going to be revisiting a decade-long argument of sexuality between Naoto and Naoto and Kanji, where, oh, is Kanji gay or not? Oh, is Naoto transsexual or are they male or female? Like, are they transitioning? Like, we're gonna have that entire debate again, and it's kind of like, oh, do we need it again? Like, this debate's been going on for decades. It's been going on for years, ever since sort of like Persona became more mainstream. There was always a sort of inkling that there was always a sort of like argument in the community, and it's just like, I get it. Why can't we just play a game? Like, why can't we just have a bit of fun rather than just debating on politics in a game that is just about murdering shadows and murder in general? Like, the game's about murder. Like, I don't know. I just don't want to. Twitter is just going to annoy me. Twitter annoys me all the time as is, but right now they're just going to annoy me further with that debate. Because I get it. You like the characters, you love the characters, but let's just cool down and just talk. Let's just talk. So I don't have to yell. My model desynced. I don't know, like, on the one hand though, I am happy that this game is getting remade because Persona 3 was getting remade. I'm still kind of annoyed by Persona 3. I'll go slightly into the reason why I'm annoyed by that, right? That too. But I am happy that Persona 4 is getting remade. I genuinely am. It's a well-deserved game, well-loved. I love the game. I'm happy for the remake. I'm just a bit disappointed with the remake. It's a very weird thing where I'm happy they're remaking it. I just wish it was a few years later, but I get it. Persona 3 cash in for the remake stuff for Persona 3. I get it. I 100% do. What about Persona 2? What about Persona 1? These games are also needed to be remade too. Like, they are, like Persona 2 especially. Persona 2 was such a good game. Persona 2 was such a good game. We need more Persona 2 in our life. We need more Persona 2. Minus the certain tyrant. But no, Persona 2 was fine. Persona 1 was, I mean, it was fine. I didn't like the camera angle. Like, it was fine otherwise, but camera angle was a bit weird, dodgy. I liked it though. I like the game, but can live with it. Can live without it. But I do want a small rant about Persona 3. Why did you not make a female protagonist? Why? Like, why? I get it. Technically, it would cost. Like, I get it. It costs more. The female protagonist, though, is pretty well established as being a liked character. Aiga's story too. Like, I get it. You needed, like, Aiga's story. I get why they made it DLC, but I don't understand why it costs the same amount as I don't understand why it costs the same as the actual game. Like, why it costs the same amount? Why do digital games cost the same as physical, by the way? Like, it doesn't make any sense. We no longer use discs, so why are we paying more for packaging? I don't know, like, it's just weird. But no, like, Aiga's story, I get it. Aiga's is a cool character. Aiga's story did actually need to be in the game somewhere, and I get why they made it DLC. Do not understand the pricing for it, though. I also do not understand with the recent trend where Persona is now making costumes in games when they're no longer making costume. Like, I do not get the recent trend with recent Personas where they are making costumes DLC. I still do not get that, because Persona 4 Golden is rich with content like that. Like, it is rich with content in the game. They're in the box where you can get like a bunch of costumes, maid outfits, slightly more scampy stuff. I don't get it. I genuinely don't. Uh, I recently replayed a bit of Persona 4 Golden, and I was genuinely quite shocked with how well that content still lasts. It is really fascinating. But no, like that's my small rant for Persona 3, which is no longer talking about Persona 3. Um, I love the franchise. I love the series. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to the remake, but I'm not. It's at a weird time where I wish it was like, oh, I get why it's here now, but I wish we had Persona 6. I don't know. We're going back to Inabella, and I guess that's fine. I guess I'll give it a shot. I definitely am going to buy it. I want to support Atlas, and I love the franchise, so why not? On to that, we're now going to talk about the Subway Slammer game. Yes, this is no longer Persona Phantom X. Message for Persona 5 operatives. We have received many comments about operants of Persona 5 X. We are taking your feedback seriously, and we explain for future operants plans in our next broadcast. We ask you to be patient in the meantime. In addition, we would like to apologize for version 1.1 live stream being delayed. We are announcing the details regarding an English broadcast version of 1.2 ahead of time. Please stay tuned for West social media account. Okay. What was the actual thing I wanted to talk about today though with this? There was a specific thing I saw. And never mind. I guess that was it. I don't see what that would mean. Maybe I don't have anything else to do with Persona today, huh? Persona 4X is stylish, thoughtful writing, reimagined of Persona 5. Thoughtfully written reimagining of Persona 5 that struggles to feel sincere under the weight of its gotcha system. Okay, Persona 5 Phantom X has a lot of faults. There is the Subway Slammer. There is a lot of issues with the game by itself. I haven't really given it a fair shot as of recently. Because I don't really see it as being a game that I want to really try, because it's kind of weird. Whenever I play a Persona game, I know there's going to be like 8 characters, 9 characters, 10 characters, and an entire social system that I can look into and dive into. But it's the same thing I get with Power Worlds. I love starting a new Persona game, and trying to figure out how to get the best possible outcomes. And Persona Phantom X. It just doesn't have that same feeling. Like, I don't understand it myself, but there's some part of me that I have it already downloaded on my PC. I have it ready, booted up, ready to go. And I sooner play Ume Pretty Derby over this. I sooner play Genshin Impact over this. I sooner play Withering Waves over this. I really do not understand it because I love Persona, but there's this weirdness about it. It's kind of hard to get a serious story, like they're saying, and you have to, it's under a system where you got to pay to improve your progress. Like, I remember the first time I played Persona 5. I remember playing the first time I played Persona 4. And I don't, less so in Persona 3, because the way it's structured, the way the narrative is structured in Persona 3 is a lot different to the way it's in those two games. But in Persona 3, in Persona 4 and Persona 5, there is a need to be the best. There is a feeling of grandeur, the grind there, where you want to get the best personas to get the best possible outcome, because story-wise, there is actually stakes involved. There is that feeling of wanting to develop your character even further, just to make sure you get the best outcome, so you can get through the dungeons in one go. And from what I've seen, there just isn't that. Because you've got yourself a gotcha system, you just need to get the best persona users, and yeah, there is sort of like that feeling that you just get yourself a good squad together like that, but I don't know, like, I just couldn't imagine, like, the more I sort of, like, think about the way Persona, like, what makes Persona beautiful in my eyes is when you, not necessarily the characters, it's the writing, it's the characters, it's the stories that are being told at the same time. There is a lot of things about Persona that I just don't see how it could be translated out into a gotcha game. Well, again, I haven't given it a fair shot, so maybe it's just an issue that I have with, like, maybe it's just an issue I have with gotcha games. But I can kind of see where this is coming from, just from knowing Persona. Like, there is that sort of weird rush you get when you are playing Persona 4, where this person's life hangs in your balance, your hands, you are required to meet that deadline, or someone may die. Like, there is a seriousness there. And kind of falls flat when you think, oh, I need to pay money to get that seriousness. You want me to get seriousness, I gotta pay £5. I don't know. I just don't see it really translating over well. I mean, but again, I haven't really I really haven't given it a fair shot. But again, it's just, I don't think it's for me, man. I generally just don't. But no, I probably will give it a shot one of these days. I don't know. I just need to feel, I just need something. Yeah, I got something about Power World again, but I'll talk about that a little later, because I can add that to the video later. Pokemon. We're almost at closing time. We can probably do one more. Sorry, before I have to wrap it up. Mortal Kombat 2 has a new movie coming out October 24th. And I ain't gonna lie, I don't remember the first film even being a thing, so yeah. Mortal Kombat 2 being released October 24th. A really interesting time to be a Mortal Kombat fan, mostly because, you know what, I can actually rant about this, because I can rant about anything about a fighting game. It's really odd that Mortal Kombat 2 is there is a new Mortal Kombat film, but I don't know, like, I can't apparently write anything about fighting games, because I don't know that much about, like, Mortal Kombat, do I? I'll talk about this. Apparently this game, never mind. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is scheduled for release in theaters March 19th, 2027. 20 months from now. Are you watching it? I haven't even watched the first 3 of these films. I'm going to be honest with you. I am shocked we're on the 4th film. We are now going into levels of Marvel Cinematic Universe right here. We just need now spin-offs with Knuckles, which I just realized we already have. Alright, we now need the Chaotix involved. I'm actually shocked that this original medium has lasted this long, that we're now getting into a full-on cinematic universe levels of movies. Like, what? We're almost going into Fast and Furious territories. Like, we're into the 4th film introducing Metal Sonic and Amy, theoretically. Sonic X was originally, fun fact, this is a fun fact about Sonic X. Apparently, if there was another series of Sonic X, we were going to be introduced to Silver and Blaze. I don't know where I've heard this from. This was years ago. Apparently, we were meant to be going on to that. We are getting to the point where the Sonic films, Sonic the Hedgehog films, might be going on to Silver and Blaze. And the funny thing about this entire thing is, Silver has not really been represented since 2006. He's brought up here and there. This might be the first time he's going to have some sort of limelight since 2006. It's crazy how long, like, it's been since we've had any sort of representation of Silver. And it's quite interesting that it's finally because of a cinematic movie that you're going to get something like that. It's such insanity. It's a weird timeline we're living in where a meme is now one of the most beloved icons in cinema. I don't understand it. What's also interesting is I haven't heard anything about a Mario 2 movie. Zelda's getting a lot of controversy. But we're living in a really weird time where apparently video game movies actually might be good films. It's just really weird because I'm more thinking about the old Super Mario movie, and that film, I gotta be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. People put like it's entertaining. Like, I don't think like it's a cinematic masterpiece, but neither is The Room, and people have a fan, like, it's got a fandom. And what's really weird about video game movies, I think almost every single video game movie has always been entertaining, which, all right, there's probably a few here and there that doesn't fall under that category, blanket statement, I guess, but what I'm trying to make here is, like, it's weird that now they're entertaining, but they're now good, because the original Mortal Kombat movie was a good film. I'm sorry, it's not an amazing film. It was fine, though. Dead or Alive did an amazing film. I'm going to be 100% honest with the Dead or Alive film, right? 100% honest with the Dead or Alive. 100% honest with the Dead or Alive film. It was a good film. Tekken. It's a good film. Was it a cinematic masterpiece? No, it was not. The Titanic. But neither will be the Sonic the Hedgehog film. Well, admittedly, I think I'll prefer the Sonic the Hedgehog film. I'm not gonna lie. I actually might need to start watching these films just so that I can get caught up with what's going on here. No, like, we live in a weird time, man. We live in a weird time. Right now, I really want to know what will be the next big video game film. Apparently, it might be Assassin's Creed. Like, Assassin's Creed film, that might be good. Film? TV series. Witcher TV series. I might have to just watch the Sonic the Hedgehog films just to see this. But no, like, really quite happy. What else? Eslop, Elma, Persona. I think I got everything I wanted to talk about this week, because surprisingly, when you're editing like almost daily, you do not get to see the entirety of your timeline. So it gets kind of like really dicey. What else could we talk about? I don't actually know. I guess I could talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't really want to. If that makes any sense. Let's see. IGN, we talked about that. Revival. Persona. Derby. Coldplay. Yeah, no, I think we've almost got all this covered. I think I got everything I want to talk about today, so I might just head off right now. Like, I've got 10 minutes, but the only thing I really think I want to cover is I guess I can talk about myself for a bit. I've been feeling a lot more motivated. Like, I know that these will never be massive. Like, I'll never be massive. But the more I've been doing them recently, the more I've been sort of like feeling really positive and motivated. And it's just been a really enjoyable time recently. I've just been enjoying myself. And I don't know. Something just about doing this has been really refreshing. But anyways, I think I might call it here just for the sheer fact that I don't really feel like talking for another 10 minutes. I want to rest up my voice and get some sleep. It's Monday. So I'm just going to leave you all with this. Ja matane. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't transition. Yeah. Ja matane.